Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is Dr. Anana, the founder of Blessed Girls, World Civility Ambassador, and truly someone who is excited always about youth civility and the four C's. I am grateful for everyone who is joining us today. And I want to just take a moment to say thank you. Thank you to all of our Blessed Girls, to all of our Blessed Girl supporters, sponsors. We thank you for all that has happened and taken place in Kenya. Yes, yes, yes. So as you come on, say hello. Tell us the city, the state, the country that you're watching from. Come on, say hi. Let me see you. Let me see you. Today, we are really, really privileged to come on board. You guys know one thing I'm passionate about, of course, is our Blessed Girls and our young people. Hello, hello, Terry. Thank you for chiming in from New Jersey. Yes, yes, yes. All my Jersey girls say hello, hello. Thank you, thank you. All right, Donna, thank you. Good morning. So I am grateful for this opportunity. Now, as you may know, and if you saw the post, that this month is mental health awareness, specifically in the area of minority mental health awareness. And the theme for mental health awareness for 2023 when we regards to BIPOC. If you've never heard of it, I'm glad I'll be the first one to introduce it to you. This is in regards to Black, Indigenous, people of color. Right. And so the theme for this mental health campaign this month is something I'm excited about because it's about culture, community, and connection. Type that in the comments: culture, community, and connection. Now, one thing when we're talking about the C's, our youth civility platform is all about the four C's, right? And those are civility, community, creativity, and climate change. So, knowing that this month's campaign is included the C's, I love it. Culture, community, and connection is certainly what we are about in Blessed Girls. And so the overall theme for this month for the campaign from the organization is that our lives are deeply intertwined with our environments. And these surroundings impact our mental health and our overall wellness. And understanding that Black, Indigenous, and people of color populations are faced with disproportionate amounts of historical trauma and displacement that can challenge their ability to thrive in their environments. But understanding that culture, community, and connection are pillars that really help support and uplift BIPOC individuals and those that might be facing oppression, depression, racism, and all these various things. But knowing that I see here I go with my four C's, but the three C's in regards to this month's mental health awareness are culture, community, and the connection. And so I pray that today, our session today, helps to really uplift and strengthen those pillars of culture, of the community, and the people that we serve. And hopefully, I prayerfully, you will have a strong connection and feel connected to myself and my guest speaker today. So, you know what? Why BIPOC mental health awareness? As a world civility ambassador, someone who focuses on youth civility, I always like to focus on the self civility, right? And the importance of mental health, especially concerning our teens and even more so our girls. Right. And so I remember, I think it was a CBS News here in the United States. They had a article and a news report that said that the CDC, which is the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, their survey showed evidence that teen mental health is in crisis. Somebody said that's another C, that our mental health for teens, we are actually in a crisis in the United States. And it's particularly concerning regarding teenage girls. So clearly, Blessed Girls has to be, right? We have to be a part of this conversation. We have to be a part of the solution, and we have to be a part of the connection, right? Of bringing people, resources, solutions in the area and in this topic of mental health regarding our teens. So the survey that I saw regarding the CBS News and the CDC, it found that 1 in 3 high school girls in the United States have seriously considered attempting suicide. I'll say that again. 1 in 3 girls. So if you're a mom, if you're an educator, if you work in your community, understand the numbers. That 1 in 3 high school girls in the United States have seriously considered attempting suicide. And more than half of the teen girls, 57%, reported feeling persistently sad and hopeless, a record high. That more than half of the girls in the United States are reporting to feeling persistently sad and hopelessness. And even when we talk about our boys, because we always have to balance that, right? By contrast, I think it was in 2021, right? 14% of even high school boys said that they've seriously considered suicide, which is up 13% since 2011. So, guys, we certainly have a health crisis happening right now in regards to our young people. And I am one that, listen, we go forward with the issues, we address them head on, especially those that are affecting our young people in the area of youth civility. So, again, my name is Dr. Anana, and I welcome you to Blessed Girl TV. I welcome you into the room for this conversation, for this dialogue. Please feel free to type in the comments who you are, where you're watching from. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, you too can add value to this conversation today as we talk about mental health awareness and unveiling the mask. So I'm not going to go into it. I think I've talked enough, but I am grateful. I'm grateful today because I have an expert. I have a sister, right, that is here today, and she's going to talk to us a little bit. Yes, and I see the comments. Thank you, Donna, for community, culture, and connection, indeed, and also the pandemic. That's true. The pandemic during COVID, the shutdown, we totally, as adults, we know how it affected us, right? But then we have to really consider how our young people have been affected by being shut down, being isolated, and even what's the word when they, because certain things that usually, prom, graduation, right, developing those relationships and having that connection, that social engagement, the how that may have affected our young people, I think is totally undercounted, undervalued, and we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do, and so I'm grateful that I have some folks that are part of our team that are working with us with Blessed Girls here in the United States, as well as in Africa and in South America. But today I have a special guest, and so allow me to introduce her and welcome her to the stage today. I'm going to move right out the way, but I want to give her a clear introduction. She hails. Hello, Mika. Thank you so much. Mika Love actually is Tamika Thomas. She is a Blessed Girl ambassador and our civility champion as well, and works in the area of mental health. So I'm glad you are here and a part of the conversation. She was one of our experts as well, and our co-authors in the area of civility. So shouts out to Colorado, who is here. Thank you, thank you. So yes, and I want to invite you all. Please share this broadcast, invite, because you could be a parent, you could be an auntie, you could be an uncle, right? You could be a church leader. You just never know the information that's going to be shared today, how it can really help. May even possibly save a life, right? And give this information to empower and to uplift someone else, okay? And that's certainly what we do, all right? All right, so you're here, our guest speaker. I'm going to move right out the way, but please stay engaged. Please write in the comments, share your questions, comments as she speaks. I want you to be engaged with that. Y'all know we virtual, but we are going to have continue the connection and the dialogue, right? Moving forward. So let me introduce our guest speaker today. Our guest is Natalie Poole, and she is a board certified child and adult psychiatric nurse practitioner. She has a passion for wellness and integrative care for psychopharmacology and psychotherapy. She utilizes a holistic, client centric approach to mental health. She is compassionate and supportive in her care, right? She is well versed in working with clients individually and therapeutically treating diverse concerns that include depression, anxiety, mood disorders, psychotic disorders, post traumatic stress disorders, and ADHD. Her goal is to reduce the stigma surrounding mental health in the African American community. She does this by providing a safe space to share challenges and disparities while increasing access to care. She actively collaborates to attain treatment goals by reducing the negative systemology that engenders hope and positive change. I am so grateful that we have this amazing, amazing expert, leader in the field and in the area of mental health, Miss Natalie Poole. How are you? Let me bring her up to the stage. Let me bring her up.
I am well. I am well. I am so grateful and I'm so thankful and honored to be here. I appreciate your introduction, my sister. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate the opportunity to be here and to engage with the beautiful, blessed girls. Thank
Amen. Amen. We're so happy to have you.
you.
I'm so excited. I thank you. I know we have our board member from Michigan,
Yes,
who made the connection for us. And again, you heard the connection, culture, community, and connection. And it's all about connection and collaboration. And so I am grateful that you are here, and to help educate us, inspire us, and give us some tools, to be the community to help and support in this area of mental health. So we are so grateful to be here. I'm going to step back, let
okay.
you jump right in.
All right.
Listen, I got my pen and paper, guys. Hopefully you got your pen. You're going to take some notes, type in the comments, and engage with Miss Poole as we go forward. So thank you. I'll turn it over to you.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who's joining today. It's such a privilege and it's such an honor to be here to be able to talk globally to our beautiful sisters all over the world. Today's July 22nd, 2023, and this is such a beautiful day. So, Michigan has been having some stormy weather, but today is gorgeous. But it's not just a beautiful day because it's gorgeous outside, it's a beautiful day because I get to spend it with you. And more importantly, it's beautiful because we get an opportunity to go on a transformative journey together. Now, this journey is going to be one of self awareness, self discovery, and more importantly, empowerment. And your beautiful team decided to do this on the most important month, which is July, where it is the Black, Indigenous, People of Color Mental Health Awareness Month. We have the opportunity today to look at one another, our intricacies, and to explore who we are as women and as people, and to walk into a place of peace. And so I am honored and privileged to be able to do that today with you. Now, this journey, I want to be honest, it can be quite vulnerable at times. Some things that we're going to talk about, some masks that we need to remove so that we can walk into transparency and wholeness. It's essential, but sometimes it is not the easiest road to take. I had the opportunity before we started today to talk to Dr. Anana, and we had a beautiful discussion quite briefly about why I got into this work. And I think it will resonate with each and every one of you. In 2018, my daughter came to me and she shared with me that she had been sexually assaulted. And even as I share it now, it's hugely devastating. Um, and I felt like the air came out of my lungs and I just didn't even know what to do. And at the time, I was a registered nurse, but I was in school for psychiatric mental health. No, actually, for family nurse practitioner. And I just didn't know what steps to take. So I began researching what could I do to help my daughter to make sure that mentally she was okay as well as physically. Well, the beautiful thing was I was able to enroll her into therapy. And I remember one day particular became so clear. It was a Tuesday. And on this Tuesday, my daughter, she woke up and she kept saying, "Oh, tomorrow's Wednesday. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight," as the day progressed. And my heart is kind of like heavy because I'm thinking, oh, she's so devastated. I don't know what's going on. And I said, "Well, why?" She said, "Because I have therapy tomorrow." And she was elated because therapy became such a transformative process for her, being able to vent, being able to share, being able to heal. We made a promise together on that date that as mommy went through school, that we wanted to do something very similar for others. We wanted to help them heal where they have been hurt. We wanted to help them restore them where they have been pained. And so today I have the opportunity to do that on this platform. And so I'm so eternally grateful. At that time, as I mentioned, I was in school for my family nurse practitioner. And so I decided, based on what was going on with my daughter, it was time for me to change. And then I switched to psychiatric mental health. So that's the reason why I got into this work. This is the reason why I understand on such a deeper level the pains and the distresses of our young women. And I'm here to not only hear you, but to protect you and to safeguard you. So I love behind Dr. Nana, it said, be good, be blessed. Oh, how beautiful is that? And we have the opportunity to do that today. So are you ready to take this walk, this journey with me? Because I'm ready to take a journey with you. Well, on June 5th, 2020, I got a call, another call that would forever change my life. It was 4:46 p.m. to be exact. I was sitting out on my patio. It was a beautiful day, much like today here in Michigan. And I was being basked by the sun. And I'm finishing therapy with a session with a client. And I'm getting ready to close my laptop and my phone rings. And yep, it's the nurse calling with my results from my biopsy. And as she talks, you probably know and figured it out. It was positive. It was positive for breast cancer. And in that moment, very much like in the moment where Savannah shared with me what had happened to her, I felt like all the air had left my lungs. It was difficult. And even as I recount it now, it's still a very challenging time. This was in the middle of the pandemic. So we're already isolated, and now having to fight an illness like cancer was quite devastating. Over the next couple of weeks, going back and forth to the doctor, being poked and prodded, July 13th arrives, and it is the first day of chemotherapy. And ooh, grueling was it. 5 months later, November 10th hits, and I'm able to ring that bell. But the journey had just begun. December 9th of 2020, I had a radical double mastectomy. And the following year, 25 rounds of radiation. And to date today, as of October 28th of last year, I've had 10 surgeries. So why do I share this with you? Because I realized something very profound during that time. I had been wearing a mask of fear, a mask of hurt, a mask of pain, and now even a mask of femininity and what it was supposed to look like for me and what beauty looked like, being a woman now who no longer had her breasts and had to go through all of these scars. Have you ever felt like that? Have you ever felt insecure about who you are? I'm sure that you have, especially because we live in a time where social media is so prevalent and we're constantly looking for likes. And so because of that, we often wear a mask. Well, I want you to know something. One of the greatest fears that people have is to be seen. But oh, baby, there's nothing more beautiful than being who you truly are. In fact, Oscar Wilde, he said it best. He said, be yourself, everybody else is taken. And if you are a Bible reader, the psalmist says, I praise you, for I am fearfully and I am wonderfully made. So I invite you today to begin removing the mask, because even as a very private person, I've understood that my walk and my journey, by sharing it, helps others in removing their mask. We're so much more, like the Dr. Anana said, than educators and professionals and women. We're humans. And so there are times where we're not going to feel okay, but that is okay. Understand that every day is not going to be a sunshine, but just because it rains doesn't mean that there won't be sunshine. Just because there's a nightmare doesn't mean that we won't ever dream again. So I support you hand in hand today from all over the world to hold your hand on this journey as we begin embarking on removing our mask. Now, you know, in African American culture, masks have had very profound measures. We've used them for resilience. We've used them for resistance. There was a time back in slavery where we wore masks in order to conceal our identity. And today, oftentimes, we still conceal our identity, but it's not necessary. Let me tell you why. Because in mental health, when you wear a mask, especially in the context of mental health, it actually hides our true emotions. It hides who we are. And we often do that because of fear, stigma, and judgment. But while we often do that for the judgment of others, we often do it because we judge ourselves. Do you know that the first step is being okay with who you are? The good, the bad, and the ugly. Because none of them are your full identity. We are collective in all of those things. It can be so detrimental to hide who we truly are and to wear this mask because it creates disconnection and disempowerment. In fact, in the Japanese culture, it's often said that we wear three faces. The first face now is the face that we show the world. The second face is the one that we show family and friends. But now here's the kicker. The third face, that's the one that we show no one. And that face is our truest self. So I ask you, do you know what your face is? Even if you weren't able to show your friends and family, even if you weren't able to show the world, do you know it? Do you embrace it? And are you okay with it? Well, I had to learn through my journey that it's okay to be me. And that what I consider beautiful maybe years ago, yeah, that was beauty. But every scar and every pain that I've ever had to endure, and that of my daughter, oh, baby, is that beautiful. It is the patina of life because that's truly who we are. And our story is not unique to us, it is the story of so many others. And so I've chosen not to live those three faces and have one for the world, one for family and friends, and none for others, for myself. I choose not to operate in a place of a mask or a representative, but to truly be who I am. So let's talk about that a little bit further. Today, we're going to do some work of letting go of that mask. But I want to ask you, and you feel free to type into the comments, are there any things or any masks today that anyone would like to let go? And share with me maybe why. Give us a couple of seconds to do that. Any takers? I see comments coming up. And if not, that's okay. No? Well, let's talk about further why wearing masks can be so challenging and why it's not good for our mental health. Because it leads to feelings of isolation. And I know that all of us present today know about isolation. Because long before COVID, and we wore masks for COVID, we were wearing masks to hide our true identity. It doesn't allow us to share our vulnerabilities. And it causes us to not have these authentic connections that actually create a sense of belonging and, as we talked about earlier, grounding, right? Because connection builds that. Oh, I love that. The mask of having it all together. You know, that's profound. Thank you so much for sharing that. The reality of it is none of us do. We talked about in the beginning statistics when it came to suicide. And I think with young women and even women of my age who are a bit more mature, we struggle with that. I call it the persona of being perfect. The greatest person who's ever lived already lived. It's not us. And again, it's okay to not be okay. But when we force ourselves to have to live up to a standard that's unrealistic, it only causes ongoing pain, distress, hurt. And so, what's so important is to give ourselves a level of grace, that it's okay to just be you. Someone else said, I feel lonely and I fail and I fall to bad situations. I love that. So interesting that you say that I feel lonely, because many times we can still be in the world and have people around us. And I ask the question, are we lonely or are we alone? Because if we are alone, that means that there's no one around us. And if we're lonely, it's because it's a state of being that we're in where we feel no connection to others. The mask of procrastination. Oh, wow. I think I have that one too. But let's stay with the one of loneliness for a while. Are we isolating? Are we talking to others? What are we doing to make sure that we have connectedness? Because being by ourselves can be a very dangerous place to be. I'm a very private person, and to so share very challenging pieces of my life is not easy to do with total strangers. But I realize that it makes me connected with you. And that's such a beautiful thing. I can feel your energy all over the world as I sit here in Michigan. And so if you're lonely, have you had the opportunity to have a safe space to reach out to someone? And if not, I want you to know that even after this broadcasting, I want you to reach out to me, because we can certainly work on that together. That's the passion that I talked about in the beginning, making sure that we build up our communities, and we do that by being there and having that connectedness. The mask of strong Black women. So first of all, I could really like clap and scream and do a praise dance right now with that. I'm gonna tell you why. Because oftentimes as Black women, we're nurturers by nature, and we have this feeling that we have to take care of everyone in the world. And I also don't necessarily like that term strong Black women, because it doesn't give us the opportunity to just be human. It gives us persona that we fly around with capes and we act as if we're Superman or Superwomen when we're really just Clark Kent. And then these capes that we have typically have holes all in them because we've been injured along the way. And then we get frustrated when we aren't able to show up the way we want to. We don't have to be Superwomen, we just have to be us. And there isn't necessarily strength in always getting everything done. Strength is also in being able to say, I need help. I need assistance. Can you help me? I'm not able to do much more today. Strength requires vulnerability. So it isn't always about doing something for someone else or pouring for our cup. Because if we pour from our cup and it continues to be empty, then what do we have left? I heard this one time and I thought this was so beautiful. It was said, when we have a cup and our cup runneth over, I thought, who has a cup that runneth over? But it was because I also was in that place of being the strong Black woman. What runs over is for everyone else, but what's in the cup is for us. So if you don't deposit, then you have nothing to withdraw. So I ask you all today, what are you doing to deposit? What are you doing for yourself to build yourself up? Are you journaling? Are you involved in therapy? Are you doing affirmations? Do you have a great community that lifts you up and uplift you? Are you finding that you're the only person doing that? And if so, then it's time to renegotiate the contracts of your life and to find a community that does that. And certainly it seems like Blessed Girl is certainly that place. Someone else said, being a leader nationally. Oh, I missed that one. The mask of being the first in your family. Oh, being a leader nationally and expectations are high. Yes. I think oftentimes as Black women and within our culture, African American, we have a position that we must strive and work harder than everyone else so that we can be seen. And that's a heavy burden to carry. But please know that you are just enough just the way you are. And oftentimes the expectations that we consider to be high don't come from others. They come from within ourselves. And so we have to ask ourselves, why do we not feel enough? Why do we not feel worthy with just being who we are? You are beautiful just the way you are. So when we talk about this mask and removing it, the reason why this is such a passion for me is because it allows us to break stigma within our culture. For years within our culture, we never sought help. We would always say, what happens in the house stays in the house. But the problem with that is, very much like when I had cancer, could you imagine me saying, well, yeah, have cancer, but I'm gonna sort this out on my own. I'm gonna ask the people around in my community and in my family what to do to solve this. I probably wouldn't be here today talking to you. And so when you're struggling with things like depression, anxiety, PTSD, bipolar disorder, suicidal thoughts, cutting, sexual assault, any of those things, and much, much more, you need professional help. And so within our community, it's so beautiful that the pandemic, interestingly enough, while there was many things that were negative about it, I think it forced us to see the areas that we needed more help because we were isolated. And now it's breaking the stigma within our community to be able to care for ourselves, not just physically, but also emotionally. Someone mentioned something about vulnerability, which I think is so interesting because vulnerability has often been looked at as weakness, and it's not. It requires such strength to be open and honest about who we are. It takes a lot of work and it's very heavy to wear a representative, but being vulnerable allows ourselves to be seen, and people appreciate that. And but even we appreciate it because now we no longer have to hide who we are. So let's let go of our mask. We mentioned about seeking support, which is interesting. Um, and with depending on your area, there are always a challenge, oftentimes, in finding a culturally sensitive care. But the beautiful thing is, as I mentioned with COVID, we now are in a place where there are more African Americans seeking this field. And so there is more help that is culturally sensitive and that understands. Mental health is so important. I remember when I was going through cancer and I was bald and it was obvious that I had something going on, the compassion that I got from total strangers who saw me, oh, was so heightened. But you know, when you're walking around and you're depressed, it's easy to mask that and people don't know, and you don't get that level of compassion. So I want us to give each other grace in knowing that let's be cautious about how we talk and treat one another because we don't know someone's story and what they're experiencing. But the same token that we're cautious with talking to others, let us be just as cautious in how we speak to ourselves, giving ourselves a level of grace and compassion. I remember this day in particular. It was a January cold day, and I was in my office, and a client who's always on time came in, but he came in late this particular day. He wasn't his bubbly self, and it bothered me. And I said, "Hey, what's going on?" And he shared with me in the next few minutes how he was going to cancel his appointment that day because as he was making his coffee that morning, he looked outside of his kitchen window, and it was dark and it was sully. And here in Michigan in January, everyone knows we can get some pretty brutal snow. And it was one of those mornings. And he shared that in that moment, he realized that that's how his life felt. It felt very dark and it felt very sullied. And over the next couple of months, his level of vulnerability allowed us to get him to a place of healing because he was open and he shared things that he had never shared with anyone. Interestingly enough, that he had never even vocalized in himself. And so, because of that, we were able to literally wash that window so that he had a clear view of who he was. And then, because of that, we had a clear view, others had a clear view of who he was as well. So, I want you to know that removing the mask is so freeing and empowering. And I want you to know that today is just our opportunity to be able to do that in just a small way. We've discussed them through the chat, how that looks like. But one of the things I think is very important to talk about is to stop the negative talk. I call it killing the ants, automatic negative thoughts. That's something that we do oftentimes. And I know particularly as young people, when we go on social media, TikTok, Snapchat, we see images of young women and men who may seem to be here and we feel like we're here. And so then we have this negative chatter in our mind about how we don't meet up. But one thing that I want you to do is to realize that having those negative thoughts holds you back from being truly you. And that's why those affirmations are so important. So, everyone present today, I implore you to develop 3 affirmations wherever you need them. And maybe the first one would be that I am worthy to be loved. Because that is so important. I find that so much in our community that's missing. We truly don't feel worthy. And affirmations are so powerful in our ability to move from a place of darkness to a place of light. So, what else can we do to remove our mask? How about embrace self discovery? Each one of us has something that's very interesting. I ask this question oftentimes when I'm doing therapy with my clients. I say, what do you really love about yourself and what do you really love in your life? And most of my clients get so irritated because they can't figure out what it is. But it forces them to discover who they are, to embark on the journey of transformation. And so today I ask you, what is unique about you that you love? Because we always focus on what we don't like. We look in the mirror and we can find every blemish, but we can't look in the mirror and find all the beauty. So on our journey to self-discovery, I want you to think about some values and some beliefs and things that you enjoy doing. Maybe it's journaling, maybe it's meditating. Ooh, I love that. I am worthy of being loved. Yes. Yes. I have power and control. Yes. I love it. My love of is reflected in all areas of my life. Amen. I have to tell you this interesting story. So it was December 15th. I know, I remember dates. And it was after my mastectomy. And so you're waiting for the doctor to call to let you know that you're cancer free. And I'm on the phone with a really good friend. And the phone clicks for me to click over. And it's my neighbor who was actually my surgeon. And I can hear from her voice, she's excited and she's bubbly. And she says, Natalie, you're cancer free. And I'm going to let you go so you can call everybody. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And I'm excited and I'm overwhelmed and I'm tearful. And in that moment, my phone vibrates. And I have an app on my phone of positive affirmations. And do you know what came across the phone? It says, I am healing. And in that moment, I was overwhelmed with such positive joy because I was cancer free, but it was confirmed and validated with that affirmation. So affirmations are so important because you need that oftentimes, even when you don't believe it, but if you keep saying it, eventually it begins to saturate your soul. And so I say to you, develop affirmations that you practice on a regular basis. But just don't chant them in the morning when you get up. At the end of the day, I love that. I love my curly hair. I love that. At the end of the day, I want you to embark on a check and balances. So what that means is, I want you to ask yourself, did you show up like your affirmations did? So if you say you're worthy to be loved, did you show up that day in a way that day that was loving? If you say I am strong, did you show up that day in a way that represented strength? I'm a change agent. Did you show up today in a way that moved change? And if you did not, it's okay, because tomorrow is a gift and you have an opportunity to work on that more. But that checks and balances forces you to begin to look at how you're operating in life and making the pivots needed to continue to remove that mask. A big one is boundaries. Setting boundaries is so important in removing the mask because it removes the expectation and judgments of others, but also even the judgments of ourselves. And it allows us to focus on what feels right and prioritizing our well-being. So I love that. I love setting boundaries, which hasn't always been clear for me. And I think oftentimes we can be really big on not boundary setting, but barrier setting. And barriers lock people out and it keeps you in. But boundaries, I love this definition. It is the place where I can love myself and you at the same time. And so it's important. And I recommend a book by a beautiful African American queen, Nedra Tawwab, and her book is called Set Boundaries, Find Peace. And it is phenomenal because it's about setting boundaries in our life in all the different stages. And she has an amazing workbook that goes along with it. So if you're able to get a copy of that book, it will be also a part of your removing mask journey. So I'm excited for you to be able to do that. The next thing I want you to do is cultivate self-expression. Someone said they love their curly hair. So if that's your self-expression, indulge in it. but it's a powerful tool for embracing who you are, because then you're okay in your own skin. And then what about celebrating progress? We're big about celebrating other people, but how often do we celebrate ourselves? How often do you acknowledge your growth and your progress on your journey? Because it's so empowering. So I'd like you to do that as well. You can take notes on these things. Not that you're going to do them all today, but certainly on our journey, I'd like you to kind of peel out the things that are important to you and be able to practice those. Well, in closing, I'll never forget all of my clients because I feel like they deposit something beautiful in my life. And as much as the work that I do is so helpful for them, um, I feel like they're helpful for me on my journey. Um, it takes a level of vulnerability to go to a therapist and tell them your darkest emotions. And so I'm honored that my clients find me a safe space to heal. And I acknowledge that because oftentimes I've needed that safe space to heal. And so to see a community as beautiful as Blessed Girl, it warms my heart because it's cultivating within our community something that has been missing. And so stay active in this. Be good, but more importantly, be you. For many of us, living in the past has such a negative connotation because that's where our triggers and our traumas have lived. I want you to think about this. Pretend we were going on a trip, on a road trip in particular, and we were getting in the car. And after we've packed, we got all the suitcases in and we're driving, but we keep looking in the rearview mirror. How long will we be able to be on this road? Will we make it to our destination? Probably not. We probably will end up crashing. But what about if we keep looking on the rear view mirrors? Remember what it says? Things may appear closer than they really are. It gives us a distorted view. So I share with you, stop focusing on the past. Stop looking side to side, but be present in today because it is a gift. Let go of the mask, walk into your trueness, be whole, move forward, and practice some of the things we talked about today in removing the mask because you are absolutely beautiful. Now I just need you to believe it. Thank you so much for spending the time with me this afternoon. It has been my distinct pleasure to be with you. I look forward to hearing from many of you. This has been a wonderful experience. I'm so appreciative to my sister friend for inviting me here today. And I'm confident that as we embark on our road of healing, that our roads will meet again. Thank you.
Indeed, indeed. Miss Natalie,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. Y'all see, I got my pen. I'm writing down so much, so many takeaways, and I love the synergy, the alignment, as you said, to be bold, be you. Be blessed, girl, right? That is just so much in alignment with our mission and the work that we do. And I just thank God for you. I
Oh,
thank
thank
God
you.
for your transparency. Your story. I know we have some people that are watching and may watch even in a replay that
Yes.
will have dealt with the challenges. Even you speak about your journey, your triumph, your victory over cancer.
Mhm.
And we just thank God even for that. And I know that that will resonate with some people,
Mhm.
that are watching and then again watch it later, more to come. So we just thank God for you and your healing and walking in your healing. We give God praise for even that, but just your story alone, and you're just so relatable. You're
Thank
so
you.
easy to connect with, and I'm grateful that you are in your lane. You are shining, and you are helping to bring healing right to our people and to our community. So we just thank God for you. Thank you for making time to
Absolutely.
spend time with us with Blessed Girls. It was just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I mean, some of my takeaways, guys, if you're watching, please put in the comments, even if you're watching in a replay, any takeaways, any things that you want to share with Natalie, because we know this goes on way beyond us, way beyond today, and the reach of this discussion will certainly help to bring wholeness. A few things that I know, I see one of our Yanni, she's Yanni on here.
Yes.
Yana has shared with you, and we have some sisters from Kenya that are on, and from South of America. And so this is just really really good stuff. But I love the fact of you talking about the ants.
Yes.
We're big with affirmations here at Blessed Girls. We even have a book about affirmations and
Oh,
getting
I
girls
love
to
it.
write their positive affirmations. So speaking positively over your life, because you can't, in order to do that, you got to speak positive to yourself, important to yourself. I loved about the abundance and pouring into your own cup and really giving from your abundance. And of course, as women, as girls, we always giving, right? We're
Yes.
always giving it, and giving from a depleted place, right? When you are like at the last and you giving all that you have, and how that leaves you and keeps you. I just want you to talk a little bit about that, even for the
Yes.
moms and for the
Yes.
for the women as well. Boundaries was a big thing, and knowing that boundaries and barriers, the difference, because I know I could say that I know how to put a barrier up real
Me
quick.
too.
Block
Right.
you out, block you and bless you real
There you go.
quick.
All in the same. Right.
But creating healthy boundaries is so important, and not just cutting people off. And what's
Mhm.
that? The culture? What do
The
they call
cancel
it?
culture.
The cancel culture.
Yes.
Right. And so how
Yes.
we so naturally now are moving into that, and creating just these boundaries of things, celebrating your self discovery is always key. That's what we say about, just be you, right? Discover who you are, what you like, what you don't like,
Mhm.
not just because, but okay, I like it to do this, I like to move this way, I like this color, why do I like this type of food, all these different things, and explore that, because there's something in you that's trying to pull you closer, right, to who you are and your true identity. I can go on and on, guys. Please put in the comments and share. But the other key thing is that it's a journey.
Yes.
No one just arrives at healing. No one just arrives at wholeness, right? It's a journey. It's on a road, right? And so, you're not just going to wake up one day. You don't just do one therapy session and you're there, right? You don't just do one treatment. You just don't do one affirmation and then okay, it's whole. It's a lifelong journey to wholeness, to wellness. And of course, for our young people as well, you might have bad days, bad relationships, things might happen, but you're still on the right path and the right journey. I've said a lot. Anything
I
else
love
you
that
want
you
to add
said.
to that?
No, I love that you said that because I think as a whole, as people, we're always focused on the destination,
Mhm.
but we don't realize the journey is what got us there.
Amen.
But the beautiful thing about mental health is it's never an arrival. We can always get better. There's always going to be something in our life that may throw us off a little bit. I guess I would refer it to almost the orange cones that we may see all over the roads as they're working on it. We may have to take detours, but it doesn't mean that our road is over,
Yeah.
that our road is completely closed. I look at it like if you went up some steps, if you were to trip, would you go back down to the bottom? No.
Mm.
You will pick yourself up where you are and continue on that path.
Yeah.
And that's very much what mental health is about. I want to say something very quickly about the ants.
Mm.
Um, the reason why that's so important is because that's something that I personally struggle with.
Mhm.
When you've been diagnosed with something like cancer, every time you get an ache or pain or something comes up, you're like, oh, Lord, is it back?
Mm. Yeah.
And so that's an automatic negative thinking, right? So the question that I want you to ask yourself when you have those things, do I know without a doubt that this negative thinking is true? So in my case, we're going to use my example. Do I know if I have this ache or pain? Yep, cancer is back. No, I don't. I don't. So then the next question we ask ourselves, if I don't know that, how does it make me feel when I fall into that belief? Well, it makes me feel sad. It makes me feel fearful. It creates anxiety. It creates depression. I start thinking about the future. So then the next question we ask ourselves is, what would it be like if we could let that go?
Mm.
I would feel free. I could feel like I could soar. I would look at life from a lens of abundance and not a lens of deficit.
Mm.
And then the last question is, or maybe not, maybe it's not even a question. Then go live that truth because that's the only truth that we truly have. And it is something that I constantly and probably daily practice
Mm.
because the reality of it is we're typically talking in our ear about something that isn't even true.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so killing the ants, to me, it's everything. Think about this. When you think about ants in real life, we got the the red ants. I mean, they're invasive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are not our negative thoughts invasive?
Yeah, indeed.
So because they are invasive, we may require other things beyond those questions. As people, we're multifaceted. So if journaling works for you, that's fantastic. But something may occur in your life that journaling doesn't work anymore. It may be journaling, prayer, meditation, and therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So be open to being able to have multiple tools in your tool belt and utilizing them on this journey.
Mm-hmm. So good. So good, y'all. I mean, I can't type. Yanni says she found her therapist. You virtual all over the country, I hope.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Amen. I'm so grateful for this. And this is what it's really about because when we talk about mental health and finding a therapist, it's something about that connection.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be in therapy, and if it's not the right person, if it's not the right connection, you really, unfortunately, could just be spinning your wheels, if you will. So
Mhm.
I am so grateful. That ants thing is beautiful.
Mhm.
Look at life from abundance and not the deficit.
Mhm.
And I even again, I'm gonna talk my age. What is it now? What I'm thinking about? What am I now? 47, 48. I don't know. I'm getting close up there, but I'm still learning that.
Yes.
And I love how you say, um, do I know it to be true? Right. So at that feeling and that thought come, do I know this to be true? Right. And then if not, let that thing go. Right. And that's not, I mean, I love how you talk about, doing the, oh, ooh, what is this? Is it back? Right. And that could be in relationships. That
Yes.
could be in your health. Right. That could be in environments. I mean, even in parenting. Oh, are they doing it again? Like
Mhm.
what is happening?
Mhm.
And then you carry all that, it's building up all this anxiety, all this stress in your life, taking you your area of focus, your freedom. That is so good. And you can, it's empowering,
Yes,
right? Because you have the choice. It's like
you
it
do.
keeps you, it cripples you to think like you have no choice, but to live in this space and to carry this weight. But you do have the choice.
You
It
do.
is so empowering. It's so,
You
so
know,
empowering.
when you talked about women and moms, which I think we carry so much, I always refer to it because I love to travel,
Yeah.
right? Let's say we were going on a trip, another trip, right? And we're going to the airport and we have all these baggage. Like, now I'm an overpacker. Come on now. I know most of y'all overpacker, right? And as you carry the luggage, you're going to carry your husband's luggage, your kids' luggage, and everybody else's luggage. And now they're able to go through TSA with no problem. But
Mhm.
you're still trying to get through because you're trying to get these bags through. That's what we do in real life.
Yeah.
We end up carrying other people's bags that are not
Mm.
ours.
Mm.
And then we're wondering why we're in a place of stagnation.
Yeah.
We can't move because we're carrying stuff that we don't even need to own.
Mm.
Give people their bags back.
Ay.
We can focus on our own bags.
You better go ahead. Put that in the comments, somebody. Give them their bags.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Especially the traveler. You and I don't
Yeah.
listen. And so we just can't. That ain't my bag to carry. I'm sorry. I got to get this carry my own bags and get on my own flight and get to where I'm supposed to be and get to my destination. That's a preach right there. All
And then
right, Natalie.
our young sisters, they'll carry bags too. It'll be a different type of bag though.
Okay,
They'll
okay.
be the person in their community that everybody comes to when they got something going on. Oh, he
Mm,
broke up with me, or I'm sad about this, or this is going on. And then when life really hits and it gets really tough,
mhm,
they look around and there's
mhm.
nobody there.
Yeah.
So it's important to build within your community and your culture someone who is also able to have that place of safety for you. There's a
Yes.
song that's so beautiful. It's by Monica, but she has these verses in, and I love this verse. And I share this oftentimes in therapy.
Mhm,
She says that we want to be in relationships. And so when I say relationship, this is any type of relationship,
mhm,
right? Where we can show the person where our demons play.
mhm.
And they don't use them against us, but they
Yes.
use it to lift us. Ensure that the people around us are safe. Vet them out so that when we go on this vulnerable walk, we don't close back up and start putting extra mask on and locks around our heart
Yeah.
so that we're able to experience the beauty of love and life.
Mm. So good.
Mhm.
So good, so good. Thank you. Listen, as you can see the comments here, how everything is being received.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing your expertise.
Oh,
Um,
it's honestly, it's a calling. I don't feel like it's a
amen.
work.
Yes.
I'm so appreciative that you guys would even have me,
Mm,
and that you would use me even as a vessel in
yeah,
any in this fashion.
yeah.
So it's truly my honor. The comments, you don't understand. They warm my heart. I'm
Amen.
so appreciative. Um, so thank you. As
Yeah.
much as you've created a forum for Blessed Girls, you've also created a forum for me. So thank you.
Amen.
Mhm.
Amen. Amen. So, guys, I'm going to make sure I copy this, her Facebook. Let me go back here so you can connect. I hope it comes up. But we will certainly share it on our page
Okay,
so they can connect with you
absolutely.
there. And do you have a website or do you
I
have?
do. I do. Do
Okay.
you want me to put it in the chat?
Yeah, put it in the chat, not
Yes.
the private one, but put that in the general comments so everyone could
Okay, now.
see. Yeah, see, they're asking how can we contact you, and so we'll be having more sessions. We just again are grateful to take time out today to talk about this.
So now this is humorous. I hate to be
Oh,
rude and interrupt, but now I am not tech savvy.
uh,
I am of that age that we're doing good to be on here. So let's see.
well, what's the name? What's the name of the page? Good, good
My
deeds.
website is, I actually typed it into our comments. So hold on a second.
Okay, all right, I could copy it back over. You see, I don't see it there yet. But you tell me, and I'll type it in.
I just sent it.
Okay, perfect, perfect,
Yep,
perfect. Thank you. It was my pleasure. And
absolutely.
so I feel like everyone we're talking about again, community and the connection,
Mhm.
share this today.
Thank you.
Share this today. You just never know. Again, play in community, right? It's sharing the word, sharing. You just never know who's in a dark space. You
Mhm.
just never know who he is to hear. Just one part of this session today can help save someone, can help uplift someone, and then it's all worthwhile. Right. I mean, listen, our time today is well spent, right? And our assignment is fulfilled. So we are grateful, grateful, grateful. All right, here I got it. Peace of Mind Wellness.info.
Yes.
All right, let me copy that over here.
So
And
we are a private practice of
okay.
two nurse practitioners, both African American,
Mhm.
a Black African American male addiction male coach, and seven African American psychotherapists.
Love it, love it, love it. Indeed, indeed. Oh, thank you. Love you, Ayana. We are grateful, grateful. Yes, she is. She's awesome. We could tell, right?
Mhm.
And so we want to continue to building our community and building our toolkit. My spiritual midwife mentor, Apostle Robin, always talks about your toolkit, your spiritual toolkit, right? Because when it's time for battle, when things come up, when you face with, I want to be able to pick that sword up, pick what we hammer up, whatever it is, nails, whatever you need along this journey, right? On this road, you want to have it, right? Build your arsenal so you can move forward and continue to wholeness, wellness, and keep it. Sometimes we get to a place and then we fall all the way back. Like you said, now you at the bottom of the stairs, you're not climb 8 stairs. You ain't got but 4 more to go, but we keep falling back to the first step. All
Yeah.
right, I'm gonna go. Natalie, don't start. Why you there again? Why you back down there? We
Right.
got.
If you don't get back up here, absolutely.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So you could absolutely connect. Peace of Mind Wellness.info is the website, and you have a Facebook page. Is it the same thing? Yeah.
The Facebook page I put in the link earlier,
Okay. Okay.
and it's Peace of Mind Counseling on there, and then I also have a LinkedIn.
Okay. Perfect. So
Absolutely.
Peace of Mind Counseling on Facebook. Peace
Mhm.
of Mind Counseling on LinkedIn.
Yes, it is.
Indeed. Indeed.
And
Indeed.
if you
So
can't find me, just look for Natalie Poole. You'll find me.
all right. So Natalie Poole, you will find her, and I'll definitely make sure that we have her information on our website. We'll send an email out with the links of the replay, so you guys will have that, and we will continue moving forward. So we thank you again, Miss Natalie Poole.
Thank you.
You are truly, truly a blessing to bless girls today.
Thank
We thank you and love you so much.
Have a beautiful, beautiful Saturday.
Amen. You as well. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, we thank you all for tuning in. You know what? And again, you're a part of our community. What you must do is continue to comment, share. If you're watching in the replay, hashtag replay, BIPOC, right? BIPOC. Mental Health Awareness Month is July, and we are grateful to focus on the area of Black and Indigenous people of color and how we are affected by mental health and focusing on that this month. So we thank you. I thank my sister, Robin Shirell. Can I get a whoop whoop? But my sister who made this connection is always, always so key. And being open to share what you have, to share your gifts, your talents, your resources, and your tools with your sister is certainly, certainly what this is about. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to connect with us, blessedgirls.com. Instagram, we are Blessed Girl NJ. On IG, hey, if you're watching, go ahead and say, listen, I was a part of the Unmasking mental health session today. Let us know. I know I would love to share any more information and feedback with Natalie as we move forward. So y'all know what we do. Listen, continue to be bold. What do I need to say? Be you. And be blessed. My name is Dr. Anana, and I thank you for your time. I thank you for being a part of our community today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and continue moving forward on this journey to wholeness, to wellness, and to healing. Thank you again for our guest, Natalie. Have a great day, guys.